Now I want you to actually import some assets from the Unity Asset Store. Before you do so, just ensure you go to Edit and make sure that you're signed in inside of Unity. So you just use your free Unity ID. If you haven't actually created a Unity ID, you can do so on the website. All right, and I'll show you that in a second. So you'll find in the resources for this session that I've given you a folder called Mobile Game Resources. This is basically all the stuff that we're going to need. So in here you've got a text file that's got all the links to all of the different assets that I want you to install. We've also got some low poly meshes that I've created, and if you want to actually create your own low poly meshes from high poly meshes, I have got a video on YouTube called Creating LOD's Level of Detail for Unity. It shows you how to do this inside of Blender. Okay, this is just on my YouTube media channel, Creative Media Tutorials, and it's pretty easy to do. Okay, so the different packages that we're going to install are, first of all, the joystick pack. This is going to allow us to control the mobile device using our on-screen joystick. For all of these, make sure that you are actually logged in on the Unity Asset Store. Now, if you don't have a free Unity login, just click on this icon here on the Unity Asset Store and it will say create an ID, and you can then do so. All right, completely free to do so. Now once you're logged in, this button should say add to my assets. Since I've already done it, it's now telling me just to open it in Unity. So just click add to assets. This is the stylized and painted dungeon. All right, all of these assets are free, by the way. Halloween cemetery set. All right, looks pretty cool. Halloween icons. The zombie character. We've got our low poly FPS pack free, and this is where I've created the lower resolution hands and guns, etc. Then we've got our level 1 monsters and our cartoon visual effects. All right, cartoon effects free. Once you've added those to your favorites, they'll actually be available inside of Unity. But first of all, I'm just going to import all of these inside of Unity. So I'm just going to take this folder, just click and drag into the assets. Okay, and that will then import those. So as I double click on this, all right, I keep getting these warnings. Just wait for these to fully update. I've got a free script that came from the Unity standard assets that allows us to monitor the frames per second, and yeah, we've got some items. Now if we take a look at something like this Scratch and we take a look at our original, notice how different they are. Okay, because this is a PNG with a transparent background. Well, when you import something with a transparent background inside of Unity, it kind of tries to fill that background with just some random colours. Well, in order to get away with this, because this is going to fit on our UI canvas, we can change our texture type to a Sprite 2D and UI. Make sure that we click on the mobile section and we override for Android, and then we click apply and it will automatically convert it. All right, so that we got the transparency. Now you'll have to do that for each of these. So this is a bullet. It's going to be a UI, override for Android. Click apply. There we go, that's better. Same with the moon, but this one's not a UI element. Okay, it's just a default texture. So what we're going to do, we're going to click alpha is transparency on this one. Override for Android again and click apply and it'll do the same thing. Okay, the difference between a default texture and a UI texture, this one fits on our user interface. It's a 2D graphic that will fit on our screen, whereas a texture default is something that you can apply to a 3D object and it can exist in 3D space. This one is a UI element. It's going to be our main menu screen. So Sprite 2D and UI, override for Android and click apply. This one is also going to be a UI element. So let's click these again, click apply, and then our crosshair is Sprite 2D and UI, override for Android and click apply. And you will notice that on this it's slightly it's not lined up perfectly. Okay, and I've done that on purpose to fit in with the cartoony kind of nature of this game. I didn't want it to be absolutely perfect. Now ensure that your graphic sizes, if you are planning on using your own graphics, that they're relatively small. I mean, the largest one here is our main menu, and this is only 550 by 550 pixels. The smaller the images, the less memory it's going to take up, the quicker everything is going to load. Alright, in your mobile device. If you're using images that are like, let's say, a 2K image, so it's over 2000 pixels, that's just too big for mobile. Alright, you really want to limit the size of these items. This one's just 512 by 512. This one's 503 by 541. This one's 39 by 105. So notice how small those elements are. Okay, so let's now go into Window and Package Manager. Just wait for this to load. Alright, it shows you what you've got in your project to begin with. These are all the things that are now working. We also have a Unity registry. These are all of the items that you can actually import. Alright, so if you want any extra elements, you can import any of those. You also get the built-in. These are all the things that are actually currently working. These are all the back-end items. And then finally we get the My Assets. So whatever you've saved to your My Assets on the website should now be visible here. Now unfortunately I've got tons and tons of assets, so it's a matter of then trying to find them. If you've not used Unity before, you should see all of your assets on there. So what was the first one? The first one was joystick. So all they have to do is just type in my search joystick. Okay, sometimes it doesn't, it delays. Joystick, there we go. Joystick pack, it's found it. So all I now need to do is just download this. It's really small, less than a megabyte, and then just choose import, and it allows me. Okay, you get this kind of a window coming up. Import absolutely everything on this. Shouldn't take very long, and then that will then add that to your Unity. What was the next one? Stylized hand-painted dungeon. So I should actually just be able to type dungeon. And I've got a few of those. So stylized hand-painted dungeon. There we go. Only 14 megabytes. Again, really small. Just download. And then choose to import. And once again, just import absolutely everything. Okay, so if you want to go through the rest of those, just find them, import all of those into Unity, and we'll continue in the next video.